Hey, and apparently we're live, which is great.
Oh.
So welcome to the training kitchen here in Donington, where today, me, Simon, I'm joined by Sian, who's with us as well. And we're going to whip up some really nice, fluffy gnocchi with a beautiful tomato and basil sauce. And we're going to use the most wasted product in the UK.
The most wasted. Now, this vegetable, the humble potato, has possibly some of the most shocking food waste statistics going.
And we'll introduce you to those in a minute.
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
Okay. So, with the thanks from Tesco's Community Grant, we are here.
Thank you.
So, let's get a little bit of cooking going because I need to get some water boiling. So, if we just take our eyes down onto our board and our hob and everything else. First things first, let's get our water on, he says, even though it's locked. We'll try and get our water on.
Aha.
Hob issues.
One of those things that you can only check right at the moment.
Yeah.
So I can move that off a little.
I just didn't realise.
Hold on, Simon.
Stick that on that one.
I'll get it over there for you.
Sian's going to stick the water on to boil somewhere different whilst I try and work out how to unlock this hob.
Can hear some peepings in the background. That'll be
That'll just be Sian. Right. Potatoes. Okay. The humble potato. As we said, we waste so many of these each year. Why do we waste them? Because we don't like the look of them. Because they're not, they're growing eyes and legs and all that sort of stuff. The only time not to use them, if they've gone green. Okay, if they're going green, that means a chemical called acrylamide is built up inside them, and that can make you really ill. Okay, but once they just look like this.
Sorry, Simon, got those all on beautifully.
Excellent. Once they just look like this, if you come down, all I'm going to do is just pick the eyes out, and that potato is good to go. Now, these have all been washed beforehand, very delicately washed, I must admit, because we didn't want to take the eyes out and not be able to show you guys what we're doing with the eyes. But they've all been washed, so they can stay skins on. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to chop them up quite small, because we don't want to be here for hours watching our hopeful pot that will come back over this side in a minute boil.
Brilliant.
So, leaving the skins on, let's move some of these out of the way so you can see what we're doing. Literally, I'm just going to cut through any way you want. And what you're looking to do is just make them into sort of 1 centimetre cubes, really.
Okay.
So just rock through, rock through, rock through. The smaller it is, the quicker it'll cook.
Okay.
So come on, Sian, hit us with some figures.
Well, yeah, absolutely. The potato is the top most wasted food at the moment. Simon, do you want to have a guess how many potatoes are wasted in the UK every day?
Oh, it's going to be a lot.
Yeah,
I do know.
You do know because we've done our homework.
Because we do our research.
Absolutely. Go on, then.
Yeah, we're at 2.9 million.
Yeah.
Whole potatoes are wasted every day.
Yeah.
But that's not in the UK as a whole. That is just from UK households.
That is amazing. So
this is potato that people have bought.
Yes, you've spent money on, you've taken those potatoes home. This does not involve, and there are more potatoes that are wasted on an industrial scale from farm, if you like, and from production. But 2.9 million potatoes thrown away every day, every single day from UK households. Why can that be? How can that be happening? What are we doing wrong with our potatoes that means that we end up in any 4 or 5 potatoes that we buy, we're throwing on average one of those away? How on earth can we be doing that? What's going wrong, Si?
And more to the point, how can we avoid what we're doing?
Absolutely.
So we've already talked about just picking the eyes out of your potatoes, and obviously if they're green, don't eat them. Okay, if they're green, stop.
Yeah.
Other reasons that people get rid of them or they go over too quickly.
Yes, they go off too soon. Okay, well, I can give you a big one for this. The first is that potatoes are most frequently and most accessibly sold in plastic. So first of all, you're buying a bag of potatoes, which possibly could be more potatoes than you would ideally need, but they are cheaper, invariably, bought in multi-bags than they are individually sold by weight. Not always, but sometimes. So unfortunately, we are encouraged to take the ones in the bag. If you do buy your potatoes in a bag because it's cheaper or more convenient to you, The best thing when you get home,
Get them out of that
take
bag.
them out of the plastic.
Get them
So
out of that bag.
the
Stop them
plastic
sweating.
absolutely is creating a sweaty environment, which is going to accelerate the decomposing of the potato. So first of all, avoid buying them in plastic. Secondly, if you do buy them in plastic, throw the plastic into the recycling and let the potatoes sit in a cool, dark, ideally place, and allow them to breathe.
But the other common one.
Yes.
We get our potatoes home, we take them out of the bag.
We do.
We go to put them in that cool, dark place.
Yes, in
which
a container.
happens to be the same cool, dark place
Yes.
as we put our onions.
Absolutely. Do you store your potatoes with your onions?
If you do, stop it.
Yes. Comments in the chat would be really interesting to see, but a lot of people just don't realize that there is some science going on just because we sit a potato next to an iron in excuse me, what did I say? An iron?
An iron. I mean, you might store your potatoes next to your iron at home.
No.
But I mean, I don't think the iron's going to make the
would
potato go off any quicker. But the onion definitely will.
Thank you. So those potatoes and those onions, they really need to be separated. There are absolutely things scientifically going on between the enzymes of a potato and an onion, which accelerate the decomposing. Again, I'm just going to check that water for you. It is. Yeah, it's on the go there, Simon. I'll shove something on top to keep it.
I still can't work out how to unlock this one. It's beeped. Oh, I'm unlocked. There you go.
Crash bang wallop over here. Won't be a second. Just going to do this to accelerate.
That's all right. I can have the pan back over here if you want.
Have you got it on?
Yeah, it's working.
Excellent.
Woohoo! The hob's working.
Well,
so yeah, 2.9 million potatoes every day from UK households, which is quite scary. Now, some of that is down to quality, some of that is down to storage, some of that is down to the onions just really not being our friends. So
anything we can do that can help us reduce that number would be fantastic.
Yeah, certainly. So other things that people do.
Yes.
When we talk about food waste in the home, we talk about edible food waste.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
If we peel them,
yes,
we're creating edible food waste.
Absolutely.
Because you can eat the peel off of your potatoes.
Yeah.
So if you do want to have a really, really, really smooth, creamy gnocchi, you might choose to peel your potatoes.
Okay.
If you do, no worries. Use the skin for something else.
Okay. What could you do with those potato skins?
You could stick them onto a baking tray.
Yep.
Give them a little drizzle with a little bit of oil.
Yep.
Any oil, olive oil, sunflower oil, whatever oil you want.
Okay.
Put them into a nice hot oven.
Yeah.
Give them about 10 minutes.
Great.
They'll look really soft and soggy, but when you take them out and they dry out, they go really nice and crispy. Crack a little bit of pepper and salt over the top.
Perfect. Nibbles.
Crisps.
Great. Absolutely.
So yeah, rather than throwing that skin away, use it.
Perfect.
Use it.
And otherwise, ditch the peeler. One of our favorite taglines, UKHarvest, we encourage people, peel less and less, because that skin
we love a bit of ditching the peeler.
Yeah, is going into your general food waste bin. If you're not separating your food waste, and many of us don't live in a situation where we're able to do that, you're actually creating more food waste by just throwing the skins away. So even if with that one little tip, we're really able to affect a bit of
fruit
change.
And veg, you know, the nutrition, a lot of the nutrition is held either in the skin or just underneath the skin. When we're talking about it with potatoes, we're also talking about carrots and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, take that skin. You don't have to peel everything.
No.
Give it a good scrub.
Yep.
It's clean. You're safe to eat it.
Absolutely.
With your carrots, with your potatoes, well, especially with carrots, 90% of the time you're going to cook them. So you're going to clean it, you're going to cook it, it's going to go into boiling water, it's going to be roasted.
Doesn't need to be peeled.
You don't need to peel it. So think about what we're doing. Our little humble, oh, hello, we've got a wave from the technical team.
So we've got Kerry Yates. Potatoes are a staple in our house.
Yes.
Excellent.
Skin equals cheap crisps.
There you go.
Wow, well done,
Dead
Kerry.
right. Don't know if you've seen any of our other videos before, but if you have, you might have got it from us. But if you didn't, well done. Love it.
Brilliant.
But you can do the same with lots of vegetable skin.
Yes.
You do peel, whether you're going to make parsnip crisps, whether you're going to make squash crisps, pumpkin crisps.
They're all edible. They're all
whether
good.
you're going to use the ugly, horrible bit off the outside of the celeriac, that crisps up really nicely
tasty.
and tastes
Really
absolutely
tasty.
fab.
Yeah.
Not that we're a nation of, well, a company, charity
Homemade
of
crisps
eaters,
like
but
that.
we have tried quite a lot of crisps
Absolutely, we
in this
have.
place. Okay, so our water is just coming up to the boil. Our kilo of potatoes, this is going to make a lot of gnocchi, okay?
Right.
Just so you know. But don't worry, we're going to tell you what you can do with anything you've got left, because you can freeze it, you can reuse
Absolutely.
it.
I'm
you can
already
use it
looking at that pile of potato
going,
and
"That's
thinking
loads."
there are some other meals that we can make out of that surplus quantity of mashed potato.
So,
Brilliant.
potato, small diced, all into the pan. Go really careful, guys. It is boiling water. If you want to use a spoon, feel free. I do it like this because I'm used to the temperature of boiling water
You
on my hands
are,
now.
yeah.
And I have sort of Teflon fingers. But if not, just gently into a pan, or alternatively, pick up your board and then take it off of the board so that any water that splashes as it goes in hits the bottom of the board, not you.
Brilliant.
Okay. And then we're just going to boil those. We're going to boil those up so that they get really nice and soft and tender so that we can then mash. Now, if you want to salt your water, you can.
Right.
We're not going to, because we're actually going to season our mashed potato when we put the flour and the egg.
Opportunity to not waste some potatoes. So if you really are only needing gnocchi for 2 people or 3 people, but you have a bag of potatoes and you know that the quantity of potatoes you've got are not going to last very much longer, it would be better.
Make it all up into
It's
something.
that principle of batch cooking.
Batch cook it.
Absolutely.
Freeze down what you don't need.
Yes.
Once you've cooked it and you've changed its form, basically,
turned it into mash.
Stick it in the fridge.
There
You've
we
got a
go.
good couple of days to use it.
Yep.
But that bag of potatoes, because we'll buy them in bags apparently, that bag of potatoes, it comes in at a kilo. That's why we use a kilo of potatoes. It's a kilo bag.
Yes.
We can do so much more with that mash. We don't have to mix it all to make gnocchi, which we will with this today. But if we wanted to split it out and half it, just reduce the recipe. So rather than using 300 grams of flour later on, if you go use 500 grams of potato, just use 150 grams of flour. It's a little bit difficult to get half an egg, but
no, you can use whisk
There's
it up.
ways.
So this is a really great recipe to be doing, loving your leftovers, because actually, and we can come on to it, there's plenty of opportunity to add other ingredients into your gnocchi. But if you are making the gnocchi and you could be using the leftover mashed potato to make the gnocchi because you made shepherd's pie the night before. So it may be that the gnocchi recipe, we're featuring it here now, but it's a perfect leftover mashed potato recipe.
And the best bit with the sauce that we're about to make, you can put anything in that.
Fantastic.
So you can fridge rate
a real fridge rater. Love it.
Tech
Another
team
question.
are waving again.
Hey there.
So we've got Kerry that said fish cakes with the surplus potato.
Yep.
Great idea.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely. Fish cakes. You can do so much with mashed potato.
Yeah, totally.
So much with mashed potato.
Another reason why it's so sad that we're wasting so many of them, because as far as an ingredient goes, it's hugely versatile. We can certainly prepare many different dishes, freeze them at different stages of those recipes, and have them for a long period of time. Good for ages in the freezer. Gnocchi is a perfect example.
But yeah, mixing it with your fish cakes, mixing it with veg to make burgers.
Great ideas.
Sort of potato patty burger things.
Yeah, really nice.
I'm going to quickly just get a couple of bits that I need for the sauce.
Okie dokie.
So we're making a really easy, simple tomato, onion, garlic, herb sauce. Okay. You can buy them, jarred sauces. I'm not anti them. You know, if you want to buy it, you can buy it. But for cost, we're going to make it fresh.
Lovely.
And we're going to show you just how easy it is.
Nice.
I'm just going to turn the pan I couldn't get to work.
Yeah, it's now
going everywhere.
Seriously.
So we're going to use 1 standard size onion. We're going to use a couple of cloves of garlic. We're just going to chop those up quite small.
Okay.
Now, this is where you can use whatever you want to do. So if you want to infuse some veg into the sauce, we can do. If we wanted to make our sauce chilified or go down a more pasta arrabbiata-y route, so you make it with chili and a bit of paprika to make it smoky, to make it spicy.
Lovely.
If you want it to be a small curry-ified, then put curry powder into it. So you can keep your gnocchi plain and flavour your sauce, or you could flavour your gnocchi and keep your sauce relatively simple.
Sounds great.
Up to you.
Okay.
You guys at home know who you're feeding, not us. So I'm just going to dice this one up nice and fine. I'm going to smash my garlic up nice and fine.
Okay.
When I can find a knife. There we go. So just to take the skin off, top and tail, roll through. Now, Sian will tell you all about saving your onion skins
Well,
and the
it's
garlic
one of my
skins.
favourite tips, and I have to say that at certain times of year when I have produced quite a quantity of this condiment that I will share with you again today, I've been known to put it in jars, put a really pretty label on them on a recycle jar and give it away as a gift, and it has been very gratefully received. These lovely papery outer casings of onion and garlic that we're all very familiar with, that we chuck in our general waste bin, they are particularly good at being used for making an onion and garlic sprinkle, salt, condiment flavoring. And the way that you do that is that you save up a whole load of these papery casings. You can just,
I know you want it. I know you want it.
You can keep it in a bowl or a tub on the side in the kitchen. It doesn't need to be in the fridge. They will just begin to dry out naturally, sitting there on their own until you've got quite a stack of them. And when you have quite a stack, and this feeds into another one of our good reducing food waste tips to do with batch cooking, when your oven is on and you're cooking one or two other things, making a meal, etc., you can lay out all of these papery casings onto a baking tray. You could season them if you want to at this stage, but they can just go straight into the very bottom of the oven. So you'll have a tray at the bottom of the oven with mixed paper made up of onions and garlic. You might have red onion in there. Any of the papery outer casings would work, even a leek, those dry outer edges, etc. Put them in the bottom of the oven. While the oven's on, they'll be drying out and cooking. Or when you've finished cooking, whatever it is that's in the oven, even when the oven is off, you could leave the tray at the bottom of the oven. It works like a dehydrator.
That residual heat in the oven.
Absolutely, it draws out that moisture.
I think, one of the projects that we did before was all about reducing your cost to cook.
Absolutely.
And how much do things cost you to cook? And
indeed.
You might be able to get the ingredient, but it costs you a lot of money to cook it. And one of the things that we were saying in that project was, your oven takes time to heat up, but it also takes time to cool down.
Yeah.
So you can turn your oven off earlier than the recipe may say, or if a packet says oven cook for half an hour, if you're turning that oven off sort of 5 or 10 minutes before that half an hour's up, your oven is still going to cook that product. It's still got that temperature in it. It's saving you money.
Yeah, exactly. So you can create something out of the waste that you get from your onions and garlic at a time when your oven is on and you're really maximizing the cost that you're having to incur.
Sorry, I just went looking for my garlic and it's already here.
Found it. So yeah, it's a really good tip. I was also just thinking, Simon, many more people now owning an air fryer. They're coming down considerably in cost, which is great
compared to when they started.
Yeah, absolutely. And they are very efficient to run, very cheap to cook in. Many of these food waste reducing tips would work brilliantly in an air fryer. Incorporate your appliances into your cooking regime. Use an air fryer, use a microwave.
No,
We've talked about it.
You've got your air fryer and you love your air fryer.
I do.
Have you tried doing your leafy
I
thing
have,
in it?
and it works.
It doesn't just blow the papery bits around.
In fact, it does blow the papery bits around, to be fair. But they stay inside the container in the air fryer, and they're in that cavity. They're not going anywhere.
Okay, cool.
And they dry out. It's much quicker, works very much more efficiently. They go really, really crispy. When you've got that dry, crispy onion and garlicky mix of paper, you can literally break it up in your fingers. You could grind it together. If you have a pestle and mortar, some people have one of those random items.
One of those things that if you
knocking about,
you give one indication to one relative that you love, that you like cooking, or you're interested in learning how to cook, or you want to do more in the kitchen, and all of a sudden at Christmas, you get given a pestle and mortar that sits on the work surface, and you look at it.
You put your keys in it.
And you put your keys in it, or you might put half the bulb of garlic in it.
That's true. Ours used to work like that. Well, you could grind them up. You can even use the back of a spoon or a rolling pin in a bowl. But it makes this lovely, very fine garlic and onion seasoning. Perfect sprinkled into cooking at the cooking stage. Also, as I say, as a condiment, salt, pepper, and sprinkle some on top of your spaghetti bolognese or your pasta sauce, or even into your gnocchi when you're cooking.
Even into this.
Exactly.
Okay, eyes down onto the board.
Brilliant.
So I've diced up my onion. Okay,
certainly have.
We went nice and small because we're going to cook that down. It is going to come down a lot smaller than that.
Lovely.
I've peeled Now, I've used 3 cloves of garlic because one of them was a bit puny, so I'll use 3.
Fair enough.
Use what you need. Now, we're just going to chop that up so that we can infuse all the flavour into the sauce. Edge of a knife on top, heel of your hand, give it a squish. And then we just rock the knife through, keeping your fingers out of the way, nice and gently. And then bring all your garlic together. If you don't feel confident about knocking it off with your finger, just use a fork or a spoon.
Excellent.
Get all of that off nice and safe. Keep your fingers out of the way. Point of the knife into the board, and then we just rock the knife up and down. The point of the knife never leaves the board. Okay? So we're just gently rocking that up and down, going through our garlic. Drag it all back together. Go again. This is the bit on the telly where you see them and you think, oh, they're fancy.
And they make it look super, super speedy. But
And
that
then
actually, that's a really great tip.
If you've always got the knife, always keep the knife in contact with the board.
Let's also just say that if you don't have fresh garlic and you have dried or tubes or frozen.
The easy garlic, the squeezy garlic, the garlic granules.
All give it that flavour. Lovely.
And if you have an intolerance to the onion or the garlic, which I know that a lot of people who struggle with sort of IBS or digestive problems.
Okay.
Great thing to use instead of that is something called asafoetida. It's a root which is then ground, so it comes as a dry herb spice. And it's called asafoetida. You can get it in supermarkets. It's an orangey colour. But what it does is it replaces the flavour, but doesn't give you the same IBS reaction that whatever's in onion and garlic gives you. So try it out. I know that there are certain supermarkets that do stock it. It is getting wider now. One with an orange sign definitely sells it.
Brilliant.
So
Tech team.
Kerry has said pestle and mortar are good stress relief.
There you go. Yeah, totally. There is nothing better than sticking anything into a pestle and mortar and giving it a good grind. If you haven't got time to knead bread like Fury, pestle and mortar, perfect.
Excellent.
So, onion, garlic, potatoes are still cooking. We're doing well.
Lovely.
Grab either a wok or a frying pan or whatever you want to make the sauce in.
Okie-doke.
Really doesn't matter. So if we take our eyes back down, let's heat our pan up over a medium heat. So when I say medium heat, our hob goes up to number 9. So I'm going to take it to about 7. So it's a high medium heat. Going to bring that with a drizzle, so probably a tablespoon, maybe a little bit more of oil, but just a drizzle of oil in the bottom of the pan.
Again, any oil would do.
Any oil will do. I'm just using the one that I've been left to use today.
Out on the side, yeah.
Very nice.
Very nice.
So that's going in. I'm going to get that warm.
Okay.
Before I go in with my onion. Now, when I go in with the onion, I don't want it to fizz. I don't want it to go and start dancing everywhere. I just want it to gently cook, which is why we're going medium heat. So, back of your hand is one of the most sensitive areas of your body.
Sure thing.
Don't put it in the pan. Just put it above the pan, and you will feel that oil. You'll feel the heat. So you won't feel the oil. You'll feel the heat of the oil. Other way to have a look at it is when that oil starts to run around your pan, you're ready to go. So that's ready to rock and roll. So off our board again.
I'll hold you with that. It's all right. I'll put that back for you.
In with our onion. Again, a little sizzle, but not anything more than that. You might be wondering at home why I've got a blue cloth here. The blue cloth is slightly damp. My board is going on top of the slightly damp cloth to stop it skidding and sliding and swiveling everywhere.
Another very good tip.
When I cut anything, I'm not cutting it on a moving board. That's why there's a cloth there. So onions are in. Give them a quick mix so that they all get coated in oil. You want them all coated in oil because that's what's going to cook them.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay.
And share the love. You don't want this bit over here getting loads of oil
flavor.
and this bit being really dry. So just give that a couple of minutes just to soften up.
Okay.
So other recipes that we've done have used potatoes.
Yes.
You obviously, we're going to make mash. We've done Hasselbacks where we cut them and they're all fan beautifully open.
That's true. Really nice. Check that out.
Cottage pies. We've already mentioned cottage pies. Hash browns are a really good one to do. If you look and you go, oh my God, what have I got here? A spud just for evening meal. You
No.
use it on your breakfast.
Again, all of those are really good love your leftover recipes because they're ones that allow you to use potato, but to incorporate additional
And just bring in
different
a flavour.
potatoes, maybe a parsnip, half
Yep.
a carrot, or a bit of celeriac, a random other vegetable that you might have lingering. Great to add into most
I'm loving the way
potato
that we're all
dishes.
talking about celeriac because we did a thing a little while ago with seasonal veg celeriac. was in
We did
season,
wintry, yeah.
and ever since then we've always been going, oh, use celeriac, use celeriac, use celeriac. It's got a great flavour. Obviously, if you've got celery allergy, I'm sorry.
Yes.
But it's got great flavour. It might look ugly.
Oh,
Right? The
I
poor
like
old
them.
celeriac isn't
They're a
the
bit
best
knobbly.
looking veg.
But they taste
But
amazing.
super tasty, super versatile.
Yeah.
You can mash it, you can stick it in stews.
You can actually even eat it
Use it with
raw,
the-
can't you?
you
You can
can.
put it in a coleslaw and eat it raw. Again, using up whatever vegetable we have is definitely our
Just getting the
go-to
other
approach.
ingredients from a sauce.
You can see
So,
you bringing in some interesting
we've
things
got
there.
a kilo of potatoes that we've just chopped,
Yep.
washed and chopped. They're in boiling, getting nice and soft, making our mash.
Nice.
We've got one onion that we diced up. We're just frying that off just so it softens.
Yep.
We're then going to follow it with our 2 or 3, if you get a little puny one like I did, cloves of garlic.
Okie doke.
That's going to go in. As soon as the fragrance comes through from that garlic, we're going to add a couple of tins of chopped tomatoes, a sprinkle of sugar and some dried mixed herbs.
Okie doke.
That's going to create our sauce. I'm hoping that our potatoes getting close to being able to come off so we can cool it down so I
Sure
can
thing.
actually handle it in a minute.
Fair enough.
Let me grab these
You
two.
can see there that the onions are starting to go see-through, that sort of translucent change that happens to them
Got a
just
bit
before they
golden on the
start to
bottom.
taking on that lovely colour.
Okay.
Yeah, looking great.
So that now is totally ready for our garlic. So,
Amazing.
nice. Let's get all that garlic up. Gently in with your cloves of garlic. And then what we want to do, we want to give it a really good mix. And what you're waiting for, you're waiting until you can smell the garlic. So the aromats, the fragrance, everything else has come out of it.
If you'd have put that garlic in at the beginning, it may have
It
burnt
would have
or
burnt
cooked too
before,
soon.
it would have burnt before the onion
and
was
you
soft.
lose that lovely flavour.
And then you get that horrible
sort of bittery
flavour on the back of your
flavour
throat.
there.
So as soon as you can smell the garlic, that means the
Lovely.
oils are coming out of it, it's breaking down
Smelling
nicely.
gorgeous.
Then we're going to go in with a couple of tins of chopped tomatoes.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, folks, this is making a main course for 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
So think about how much sauce you're making when you know how many people you're feeding.
Again,
So-
one of the best batch cook tips that I particularly use frequently at home is a base sauce like this
Oh, you
can
do
be
anything
used in so many different recipes. Again, if you look through UKHarvest website and our online library of recipes, you'll find many of them that
Use
would
this sauce as a
begin
base.
with this sauce. That isn't because we haven't got any other ideas. That's because this is really versatile. It can use the same basic ingredients, but you can add to it. And then
And it's like we said,
when you've got
chili
loads of
up,
it,
curry it up,
absolutely.
bolognese it up, do whatever you want with
You
it.
can
It's such
separate
a
it.
stock standard
Totally.
core.
Yeah, we get very excited.
base.
We do.
Well, the way I always look at it, if you can cook this,
Yes.
you can put it with anything you want.
Yes, absolutely.
Tech team are waving again. Somebody's coming in with another
More
question.
input, go for it.
I like this today. We've got lots of people interacting. It's
Nice
great. Come on.
chats.
So we've got Kerry, she says, we call it surprise smash in our house. Usually on a Sunday, we use up the leftover root veg we have.
Yep.
Sounds great.
And a good way to get kids to eat more veggies.
Yes.
Excellent.
Not guaranteed, but it's worth giving a try.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well done.
One thing as well that I'll say with potatoes, and not necessarily, but if you've cooked pasta
Yep.
and you've got too much cooked pasta, if you need anything to thicken soup or to thicken sauce, potatoes and pasta
Absolutely.
are brilliant.
True.
So
True,
if
true.
you've gone, I've got all this veg left over, and if it's anything like it is down here where you are today, it's not very warm.
No,
Okay,
it's not.
you want that hearty bowl of soup.
Yeah.
You're going to put some veggies in it, but it's all a bit wet.
Yeah.
It's just
You
a
want to
bit
thicken
wet.
it up with
You want to
something.
thicken it up rather than going in with corn flour, rather than going in with anything like that.
Absolutely.
Add some more nutrition to it, whack some potato in it, blitz it all up. The potato, the starch from the potatoes will thicken your soup.
Great idea. Great idea.
Another way to use up one of those 2.9 million potatoes we waste every day.
Every day. It's incredible.
God, it's hideous.
Well, that is looking like a really great sauce.
That's
I
the
mean, in
start.
terms of cost, UK Harvest recipes are always low budget, and particularly for Tesco Community Fund, we're trying really hard to come up with ideas that are versatile but always inexpensive.
And
Compared to buying a ready-made jar or bottle or packet of sauce,
the big thing is accessibility.
You're saving
as well.
money here.
You know,
Yes.
when we look at what we're going to cook, is it accessible? Can you get it in everywhere?
Yeah.
Basically, can you buy the ingredients wherever you go? Yes,
Yes.
you can. Can you walk into your supermarket and buy ready-made gnocchi and sauce? Yes, you can. You can. Go buy it. That's fine. Then go home and throw your potatoes away. Make it yourself.
Yes. Use your leftover mashed potato.
You know.
Come up with creative ways of really being able to use up the ingredients that you have at home. And a batch made sauce like this can be kept in the fridge, added to mince or other meat, added to other dishes to vary and change the content of your dishes at home and your family meals just by using that one great ingredient. Yes.
I've just chucked stuff in there and I haven't told anybody what I've chucked in there.
Go for it. What do we have
so
there?
All that I've done,
You sprinkled in.
I've sprinkled in.
You did.
The white is sugar.
Okay.
Okay. The sugar is there. It was only half a teaspoon, just to literally take that taut nature out of the tomatoes.
First of all, it's not essential.
No, not essential at all.
No,
you don't need to put it in there. It's just one of those, just take that bittery, taut.
Sometimes tomatoes can be sharp like that.
Away, yeah.
And if you wanted to use an alternative sweetener,
go for it.
Totally.
Yeah,
so any of those
agave,
brand name ones or agave or alternative sugars, a dash of honey even, just to
break that taste.
Yeah.
What you will also find, if you don't want to use sugar, if you had tomato puree,
yes,
that quite often takes that away because of the fact that it's got all the concentrate in there. So if you're going to use that, that's great. You don't have to put it in. It's up to you.
Okay.
And then the other thing was sort of 2.5 to 3 teaspoons just of dried mixed herbs.
Okay.
Now, if you haven't got dried mixed herbs, but you've got dried basil, dry oregano, use that. It's all good.
And
it's just going to be
making
for the flavour.
me think about our lovely viewers' comment to do with putting vegetables into mashed potato. We're going to talk about that a little bit more when we're making the gnocchi.
I'm going to take that
but
off.
Actually, you could be adding all kinds of additional ingredients into your pasta or gnocchi sauce. And actually, this is a great time to grate in a leftover bit of carrot.
I'm just going to drain those because I've got a feeling if I lift those out,
they look pretty cooked.
They're going to be pretty soft.
Also going a bit see-through.
They are soft.
Happy?
They're not going to take a lot of mashing.
No, you're happy with those?
So if you're cooking along, check your potatoes because these aren't going to take a lot of mashing.
Give your sauce a stir.
So all I'm doing, I'm just going to drain them straight into a sieve or a colander. Get all that water out.
Tomato sauce is reducing beautifully, looking really rich and yummy.
Steam my glasses up, but that's cool. So yeah, just emptied that into a sieve. I'm going to make sure that it's drained all of the excess water because what I don't want is really wet, soggy mash. You've got enough water and enough moisture content in the potato that we've just cooked. And now I'm going to put that back into the pan. I'm just going to let that start to cool down. Now, why am I letting it cool down? Because in a minute, I'm going to put an egg in it. Now, if I put an egg in it now, the egg's going to start to cook. And I don't want to start cooking that egg just yet.
No, fine.
So I'm going to let that just cool down just that little bit, which is why I've drained all the water off it. If you want to do it in a rush, and you maybe haven't cooked your potatoes as long as I have, just bit of cold water over the top will bring that temperature straight down.
Okay.
I think if I put cold water over the top of that, they might just all
run away down the sink.
Go down the sink.
Okay, we don't want that. We don't want to waste them.
I'm just going to make sure that my sauce isn't going to burn.
Looks lovely.
So move that to the back.
Really rich and tasty.
I'm just going to now bring that right down in temperature. I'm going to bring it down to about 5. Remember, our hob goes up to 9. So I'm going to keep that on the heat at 5. Turn that one off. And that should just let that now just simmer and get rid of the real extra fluid, moisture that's in it. All the extra
Thickened up
sort of,
beautifully already.
yeah. But
That's
anything that's just sitting on the top, you know, when you make a tomato sauce, you get that layer on the top. Just bring the temperature down.
Okay, no, and
leave
let
it
it
sit
cook,
there.
simmer out nicely.
Let it chill.
Fair
Just
enough.
let it be. It's all good.
Okie dokie.
Back to our mash then.
Right.
Okay, so it's not cold yet. It'll get colder in a minute.
Okay.
But we're going to mash it up now.
Yep.
Because as we mash it, we can move it around, lift it around, move it up and down. If I want it to get cold, I'll just take it outside for 2 minutes.
You could at the moment.
But because we're getting more areas for the cooler air to contact with our potato by mashing it,
Yep.
it will get cooler quicker.
And I'm really pleased to see that those potato skins just break down beautifully into
Yep.
the potato. It's going to give texture to the gnocchi as
Yeah.
well, isn't
Just
it?
don't chop too big. You know, if you get your spud, which is like this size, and you cut it into 4 bits, trying to get through that skin
You're
when you're
more
mashing
likely
it,
to lose it.
it's going to make your gnocchi quite grainy.
Right.
But
So yeah, keep it small.
keep it small, cooks quicker, mashes nicely. Skin can give it that little bit of texture, but nothing too much. Now, I'm not adding anything to this mash.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm not going in where some people at home, when you make mashed potato, might put milk in it, might put butter or marge or an alternative plant-based butter or whatever to give it that creamy feeling. I'm not doing that because what we want to do in a minute to make our gnocchi is we want to make like a dough.
Okay.
So the more liquid we put in there, the wetter that dough is going to be. And what we're looking to do with the gnocchi is to create something that represents, I suppose, pasta.
Yeah.
But it's potato based.
Well, we use it in the same way, but it has a totally different nutritional content.
Yeah.
And it uses up those
2.9 million potatoes.
some of those big waste potatoes.
So
Brilliant.
we're getting there. So the first things first with this. We've mashed our potatoes.
Lovely.
They're still quite warm.
Okay.
So we need to cool it down. So into our potato, we're going to add 300 grams of plain flour.
Lovely.
We're using plain flour.
Excellent.
If you use self-raising, it's not going to have that much difference to it.
No. Okay.
It might just make the cooking bit a bit more poppy.
Okay. Give them a little bit more bounce, maybe. Fair.
And
lovely.
an egg.
And an egg.
Could you do me the favour?
I can.
Crack that in there and
Yeah.
give it a mix for me.
Of course. I'll take one of your forks.
You use one of my forks.
I can do
That's
that
fine.
right here.
And I'm just going to go into the pan gradually, not all at once, with my flour. Going to put that all the way through. The flour will help to cool the potato as well. You'll start to see it coming together like a dough.
Okay, yeah, ready.
Now, some people that I've spoken with who make gnocchi say when you've got it all mixed together, to get really good gnocchi, all gnocchi is really good.
Really good.
But apparently, to get really, really good gnocchi, cool it before you cook it.
Okay.
Whether that actually works, I don't know, because I'm always in such a rush to eat. I'll just make it and cook it. So going in with the rest of my flour, it looks like a lot of flour. It is a lot of flour. I'm hoping that it was weighed out by the team earlier, because if it wasn't, this is going to be very flour. But I have faith in the team.
You can see the kind of quantity coming together. It's looking like a big portion, which is really going to feed into giving us some great tips and options to do with using the gnocchi over a longer period of time, being able to make it ahead and in advance, store freeze it, etc., and use it as and when you need it.
Because you can freeze it at many different stages. We could have frozen this potato when we just cooked it.
Yep.
We could have frozen this potato when we mashed it.
Yep.
We're now making it into the gnocchi dough. We can freeze the dough.
In a ball of dough.
In a ball.
We're going to get there shortly.
We could freeze it once we've shaped it. This is where you can get creative.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest creative, but I'm going to try today.
You do pretty good.
So then if you create your gnocchi, you shape it, you put it on a tray. If you've got room in your freezer, put it on a tray. Freeze it on that tray.
Right.
So
individually so they don't stick.
Put it in one night, take it out the next morning into a freezer bag, leave it in the freezer, it's ready to go.
Brilliant.
All different things you can do.
Okay.
Right, back to trying to mix this up. The reason I stopped is because I'm waiting for it to
Cooling
cool.
down.
I want it to cool down a bit because I've got to put my hands in it. That's right.
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Great.
It's not going to cook the egg, and I can put my hands in it.
Perfect.
But I will need to wash them in a minute.
Good test.
So, rings off,
Excellent.
because otherwise, A, they harbour whatever
Yes.
you put your hands in. B, if you've got anything with a stone in it, you don't want to lose it.
No.
If you've got a ring which has got a little indent or whatever
Mm-hmm.
cut in it, it's just going to get full of gnocchi.
Yes, not nice.
Eat it, don't, you know.
Fair enough.
So I'm going to go in with my egg. Get all of that in there. And then we're just going to bring it together like a dough, like any normal dough that you would. So if you make bread before, bring it together like a bread dough, bring it together like a pasta dough. It's still really hot. Just letting everybody know that this is still really hot. So you might want to give it a couple of minutes. But you can already see that we haven't, it might look like a lot of flour.
Yeah, no, it's
but this is quite wet.
All. And also I can imagine that this would be a great thing to do with kids in a family situation. I know that one of our viewers, make your mash, make your dough, stick it in the fridge. You've got it nice and cold. Clean down the kitchen. You've got your sauce ready on one side. Get the kids involved or the partner, whoever it is you're cooking and eating with. You could do this together. You could. And yeah, be a really nice way of sharing a foodie activity.
Like this, you do. Me a favour?
What would you like, Si?
That big tub over there that's got plain flour.
Yeah.
Could we just bring some of it in?
I certainly can.
And just dust the
Scour
board
your
for
surface.
Me. So if you're doing it on a work surface, just flour your work surface. If you're doing it like me, trying to show everybody on board.
I'm going to go quite heavy because I can see you're quite sticky.
I am quite sticky here. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay. And then we're just going to bring that into the board. Using some of that extra flour just to make the dough not quite so wet, because this is really, really wet. So where I probably overcooked, there's no probably. Where I overcooked the potatoes, they've absorbed a lot more water.
Okay.
Hence
so it's going to be a bit more delicate. And
for
also,
more flour.
To be fair, it's still warm. So if you did have time to chill it at this stage, it's looking like a lovely soft dough.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
If you were able to chill it at this stage, then again it would firm up, wouldn't it, in that process?
Don't worry, things happen.
Yes.
And we're at no risk of our gnocchi not tasting good.
No, we're not.
So,
and I just was thinking, Simon, while you're kneading that, again, at the stage of mixing the gnocchi, you could have put in some fresh herbs.
Yep.
You could chop and add into it at that stage any fresh herbs or spices or flavorings that would enhance or change the basic gnocchi flavor.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah?
And this is where, if you want to, you can season.
Yeah.
We didn't season our water earlier when we cooked the potato.
Yeah.
This is where you can season.
Fair enough.
Now, I'm kneading this quite well. I want it to be as smooth as it can be.
Yeah.
Although it's going to hold on to that potato skin.
I get these out of your way now.
Perfect. Our sauce is ready. What I do need, and actually,
what can I get you, Si?
A pan with some water in it, please.
Ready to boil?
Well, yeah, unless we can get boiling water. Yes, another tech team waving their hand at us.
Sorry, Kerry says it also encourages kids to eat as they help to make it.
It certainly does. I've got my own little 8-year-old who is a budding chef. She loves being in the kitchen, and she gets a lot more adventurous if she's actually cooked it.
Sounds great.
So, my dough ball. As soon as Sian's back, I'm going to go and wash my hands off. But my dough ball is there, okay? Now, I'm not going to cook all of this gnocchi today because I want to save some, and I know that there are only 3 of us here, and we've all had lunch before we started, so our bellies weren't rumbling whilst we were on camera to you guys. So, I'm going to portion this up. So, that piece of dough can be kept. I'll just make enough so that you guys can actually see what we want. So, this dough, if it's feeding 4.
I'm going to pop that one on.
Yeah, brilliant. It's from them.
Thank you.
If we're feeding 4, brilliant. Use it. If we're not, this is the time. Again, you can freeze it down. Right, Sian, I'm just going to go and wash these up.
Brilliant. I'm going to take 3 of those away, did you say, Simon?
Those back 3 can be put into either the
Lovely.
freezer or the fridge.
So that is still warm to handle, beautiful firm dough. So just as it is that, we could actually cling film that ball of gnocchi as it is, freeze it, and then when you're ready to use it, take it out in the morning or stick it in the fridge for a couple of hours ahead of you wanting to use it. Then it will defrost and you can shape it accordingly. And then Simon will show you how to shape gnocchi, and then, as we mentioned earlier, freeze it at that stage. So I'm going to get these out of the way in the kitchen and put them over here for freezing. Brilliant.
Excellent. Cheers, Sian.
You a bit tidier now, Simon?
Yeah, and I apologise because I
Excellent.
didn't turn my mic off, so I expect everybody's just heard all of the running water in the sink.
It's
So,
real. It's
you know,
real.
it is real life.
You've gotta
Welcome
wash
to
your
live
hands.
YouTube.
That's it.
Okay, so our gnocchi is there. Now, we could do this in a number of different ways.
Yep.
So you can roll it out. I'm going to roll it quite thin because I like my gnocchi smaller. So it's just like doing with plasticine.
Which is why the kids will like it.
We can all remember those days.
Yeah, Play-Doh.
Even if we didn't have the plasticine or the Play-Doh, maybe
No.
our kids have.
Yeah.
So from there, you can either go chunky and have
Okay.
chunky gnocchi,
Lovely.
which is all good. Doesn't matter which way you go.
Real nice.
Or we can just go very small. I'll say very small. Thinner dots. Now with that dot, I'm just going to roll the first one into a ball. Roll it out. Grater. That way grates. This way can shape.
Great in shape. Like it,
So,
Simon.
let me just put that on there.
Cute.
And you just roll through. And hopefully you can see all the little dots that are being created.
Gives you a nice little texture, which
Okay.
helps to hold in the sauce.
Just gonna
Really
Go
nice.
even smaller.
Excellent.
And I'm going to press down a little bit harder this time.
You've got to sort of judge that a bit with your own dough and the texture of it and how much firm pressure you put on.
Now you can
They look
keep them
cute.
as little sausages with dimples, or you can bring it out and you can shape it with your dimples.
Lovely.
It's entirely up to you.
Okay, nice.
If you haven't got a grater, which fork have you used?
Yeah, the ones that are down.
Little fork. Just press it and roll it. And it should, and it does. On a brown board, this probably doesn't look that great. But if I lift that up,
Really nice.
can you see the ridges that are in there? That's just by
Yeah.
rolling it down the fork.
I
Yeah.
like that fork one.
You
and
like the fork one?
Yeah, I do.
Let's
I
do
really-
another fork
the
one.
shapes-
Sian likes the
I
fork
do.
one, everybody. We'll do another fork one.
I like those.
Okay,
Well, I know
so
that
you
with-
literally just roll it, push it and roll it, push it and roll it, push it and roll it.
Great.
It gets quite fiddly if you want to be really artistic, but hey, it's dinner, and then you can do that, you see. So
Very
you get all your
cute.
ridges. Yeah, we'll show you the other ones. We'll show you the other ones. 2 seconds. And then you see, if you twist it round and pinch the edges, you can make your gnocchi look like a croissant.
I was just about to say, it looks like a tiny baby croissant. Lovely.
Okay, the other ones. On our grater, push it down, push it down, push it down, roll 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 it down. I'll lift that one up. Oh, you can see, hopefully you can see the dimples down a bit, down
The
a
more
bit,
you
up a bit,
handle
up a
it,
bit, down a bit, up a bit.
lovely.
And yes, so then you can see all the little dimples. So you can do that. And when we say shape them, you don't have to shape them. You can
Well,
make them whatever shape you want.
Most of the gnocchi that you buy ready-made are just kind of like pillows. They're like little rectangular,
Little pillows.
puffy pillows, aren't they? So it can be as simple or as
As you
complicated
see,
as you like.
this gnocchi recipe, you get a lot of gnocchi for your
You
money.
do, yeah, brilliant.
Lots of gnocchi for your $1.
And again, this is the stage at which if you wanted to prepare a whole tray of ready-shaped, ready-made gnocchi,
Yep.
lay them all out on a tray or a plate, put them in the freezer so that they freeze individually and separated from one another. And then as soon as they're frozen, bag them up, put them in a Tupperware, move them to a separate section of the freezer where you can just grab them out, take them by the handful when you need them, use them much more freely. That's perfect. Those are cute.
I'm going to bring the fork back in because you like the fork.
Okay, I do. And the little ones are really lovely.
But you just need to just press down just that little bit just to get it.
Very nice.
I have seen chefs, I'm going to try it. I've never done it this way, but I have seen them doing it that way and
Curling it towards you.
dragging it along the board, but then you
Ooh,
knock it off the
time
edge
to
of the
play.
board.
Can I have a go, Simon?
Yeah, you can play. Of course you
Okay,
can.
let's have a go.
That's what food's all about.
So I'm going to drag it
There you
between
go.
me.
Oh,
Whoa.
nearly curled
Okay,
to be.
no, it's curled, curled. I'm going to try one more.
Okay, our sauce is definitely ready because that's lovely and rich.
These gnocchi look great.
So all that we're going to do now, I'm just going to roll these into just
Straight standard gnocchi sausage. Yeah, even those are gorgeous.
either
They're
gnocchi
nice.
sausage. We'll leave some as pillows. We've got a pan of boiling water. Thank you for putting that one on
No
for me.
problem. Thank you. Steam up that lens.
Steamy,
Perfect.
steamy. Get rid of that one. So how are we going to cook the gnocchi? How do we know when it's cooked? We're going to not throw. We're going to put our gnocchi into the pan.
Lovely.
When it puffs and comes to the surface, it's done.
Perfect.
Just like that. Now,
Okay.
I'm really lucky because I've got one of these. I don't even know what it's called.
No, neither do I.
Don't even know what it's
But
called.
this
it's
is the
really
moment
useful.
to use one. Yeah.
If you've got a slotted spoon at home, go with that. All I'd say is do not overload your pan with gnocchi
Okay.
because
They'll stick.
they stick and then some cook, some don't. Some are better, some are worse.
Better to do it in small batches.
Batch it through. You've got your sauce. It takes no time at all for these to pop to the surface.
Okay, oh, lovely.
He says as he puts these in here, it takes ages. No.
No, I'm sure it won't. Cute. A lovely little selection.
So you can very easily, because you're going to pick them out of the water, you can do it plate by plate for your family.
Okay.
Um,
But once they're cooked, they could come off. They're going to keep their heat for a few
they
minutes
hold
while you
their
cook
heat
another
for
batch.
a long time.
Lovely.
So we're just going to put those in. Going to let them bubble. And when they come to the surface, they're going to go white. They're going to go puffy.
Great.
That's going to do a little bit.
I
It's
can
not
see
going to
them
do loads for
popping up
lunch.
already.
But
Beautiful. Even just as they are, they look great. Just little shapes.
just like that.
Yeah.
As you can see, I don't know if you can see. Can you see?
I'm blowing the steam away so that you
we
can
waft
see
this
them
steam out of
circling
the way,
around.
You can see them going white
They
and
look
puffing
great.
up on the top.
Yeah.
Wave the steam away, so don't put the extractor on any harder because nobody will be able to hear a word you're saying.
True.
When you get to that, obviously if you're batch cooking it, you're batch cooking it. If you're not, scoop it out, have a bowl ready.
Shall I move this out of the way? You're going to
Keep a
plate
little
up
look
over here,
well,
Si?
keep a little look because what you want to do is you want to make sure that your gnocchi are white. Okay, so once they're white, that just means that all that flour, that egg is all cooked through. When there's still that sort of browny colour, light brown, tan, whatever, that means that your flour and your egg, whilst it looks like a dough, your flour and your egg's not cooked. Okay?
So it's that difference
it's that
of beigey brown. Yeah, they've
to
gone
puffed
much
up on
paler.
white.
Yes, you can see
So
that
when we
different
get-
texture.
Right, I'll bring it forward out of the steam. So puffed up on white, cooked gnocchi, raw dough.
Yes.
All right? Puffed up, white, we're ready to go.
Lovely.
Let's get that. Let's not put your face straight over it.
Especially if you wear glasses.
Lovely facial, can't see anything. Okay, we'll put all of our gnocchi in here, or all of the gnocchi that we've cooked so far. Now, as we say, that's going to hold its temperature for ages, but just to give you guys an idea, there's my gnocchi. The sauce is all cooked. Just had another facial, it was lovely.
You have.
The sauce, you can either put the sauce on the top, you can mix it all through, you can use a jarred sauce, you can use a bought sauce. But for anybody at home that goes out and buys gnocchi, hopefully,
That looks yum. It looks like a proper yum dinner.
small plate. I will be honest, this is a small plate, but otherwise you guys have got to sit there or stand there at home and just watch me boil off a load of gnocchi.
I think one portion is perfect to
which
show
is
everyone just
quite
exactly how good it looks.
But that, grate some cheese on the top if you want
Yeah,
to.
it's on there. Do you want to do that, Si?
No, I'll keep it like this at the moment.
Okay, no worries.
So grate some cheese on the top if you want to, and away you go. Somebody else has asked a question. James is waving his arms at me.
Yeah.
So it's very much needed comfort food in this weather.
Oh,
Yeah,
it is. It's warm.
absolutely.
It's healthy. It's relatively easy to produce.
Definitely.
And it saves 2.9 million potatoes being thrown in the bin.
Perfect. Great tips. Hopefully
Freeze
that's been
it
useful.
all the way through the process.
Yes.
The sauce you can freeze as well, folks. So if you did have excess sauce or yeah, I'm cooking for the whole family. I'm going to get myself prepared. I've got the sauce done during the day.
Sure.
I've got my gnocchi made. That's fantastic. And then the kids decide they're going to go out with their mates.
Fair enough.
And you've got food left.
Fair enough.
You can freeze the
Freeze it
whole
all.
caboodle.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
Folks, I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm sorry we've waffled on so much about the humble potato.
Oh, we've done it proud, Simon. We've done it
is
proud.
the number one
Try
most
to reduce
wasted
the waste
food in the UK.
Absolutely.
And when you consider how much time and effort farmers put into making those or growing those potatoes and getting them to us, make the most of them. Do something different with them.
Yeah.
Make some gnocchi up with them. People think it's hard. Have a go at home. Give us your feedback.
Yeah, please do.
And from me,
Amy,
it's goodbye.
thank
and we'll
you so
see
much.
you soon.
Enjoy your gnocchi.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.